Hello, class. We're about to finish up the second part of lesson 7. Now, this deals with surface area of a cylinder, surface area of a cone, and surface area of a sphere. Now, we did not cover that in the previous part of chapter 7, and we're starting on page 404. Now, what we need to do is write down those formulas. Okay, so now, with those formulas, I'm going to write it here. We're going to do the surface area of a cylinder. The surface area of a cylinder. Try and make this a little bit closer. So the surface area of a cylinder is 2 times pi times the radius times the height plus 2 times pi times radius squared. That is the surface area of a cylinder. Now we go to the surface area of a cone. The surface area of a cone is pi radius squared, and then the lateral, it's supposed to be radius, pi radius and the lateral side plus pi radius squared. Now, we go to the surface area of a sphere. Okay, we go to the surface area of a sphere, which is 4 times pi radius squared. Now, those are the 4 formulas that we're going to use for this exercise. Okay, so now, with that being stated, we're going to go on to the next page. And it says, for the surface area of each object in square units. It says, find the surface area of each object in square units. Express your answer in terms of pi. For example, 36 pi. Use the formula on page 404. Okay, listen. What this is basically saying is that we're not going to write pi as 3.14. We're just going to leave it as a symbol of pi. So let's first start here. We have the surface area of a cylinder here. Now remember, a cylinder, this is the surface area of a cylinder, this is the surface area of a cone, and this is the surface area of a sphere. So, this is number 1. So we have 2 times pi, and then we have the radius, which we see here. The radius is this 7. So we have 2 times pi times 7, and then we have the height, which is 5. When you come here, you see the height of this cylinder is 5, plus 2 times pi, and then we have the radius, which we found as 7 squared. So now, 2 times 7 times 5 is 70. So this is 70 pi, plus 7 to the second power is 49. So it's 2 times pi times 49. So now we have 70 pi plus 2 times 49 is 98. So that would be 98 pi. 70 pi plus 98 pi will give us 168 pi. So your final answer here would be 168 pi. Okay, now, the next thing, we will go to problem number 2. Now remember, problem number 2 is the cone. So we will use the second surface area formula. So now, this is problem number 2. Now, the second surface area formula is surface area is equal to pi radius times the side plus pi radius squared. So now we have the surface area is equal to pi. Now we add a radius, which is 4, and then we add a slant height of 6, plus pi, and then the radius is 4, and that's squared. So we have the surface area is equal to 4 times 6 is 24, so that would be 24 pi, plus 4 squared is 16, and we have pi. 24 pi plus 16 pi will give us 40 pi. So that is the surface area, which would be 40 pi. Okay, now that took care of problems 1 and 2. Now we go to problem 3, which is the surface area of a sphere, which we have here, which is 4 pi radius squared. So now we go to the surface area of a sphere. So we have 4 times pi, and then we have to find the radius. The radius here is 3, and that's supposed to be squared. So the surface area is equal to 4 times pi times 9. So 4 times 9 we know is 36, so it'd be 36 pi. So that would take care of problem number 3. That was problem number 3. Okay, now problem number 4, we come back to the cylinder. So we need the surface area of the cylinder. So we would do the surface area is equal to, now you already know the formula, but I'll bring it back here, 2 pi radius height plus 2 pi radius squared. So now we will have 2 pi, and then the radius is 9, and then the height is 12. Plus, we will have 2 pi, and then we will have the radius squared. The radius is 9, so that's 9 squared. So now 2 times 9 times 12 will give us, let's see, 216 pi plus 9 to the second power is 81. 81 times 2 is 162, and that'll be 162 pi. So 216 pi plus 162 pi will give us 378 pi. So 378 pi will be our surface area. So that took care of problem number 4. Okay, now we go here to problem number 5. Problem number 5, we have the surface area of a sphere. So we know that that's 4 pi radius squared. And again, it's problem number 5. Okay, so now the surface area is equal to 4 times pi, and then the radius here is 10. And we know 10 squared is 100. So it'll be 4 times pi times 100. So 4 times 100 is 400. So your answer here would be 400 pi. That would be the surface area. 400 pi at number 5. Now number 6. So we have the surface area of a cone. So we would have the formula. We have pi, surface area is equal to pi radius times the slant side plus pi radius squared. Okay, so now we have the surface area is equal to pi, and then the radius is 5. The slant side is 8 plus pi, and we already determined the radius to be 5. So now we have the surface area is equal to 5 times 8 is 40. So this would be 40 pi. Plus 5 squared is 25, so that would be 25 pi. 40 pi plus 25 pi is 65 pi. So your surface area would be 65 pi. And that is it for problems 1 through 6. Now we move on to problems 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so now with problem number 7, we have here, it says choose the one best answer to each question. Use the formulas on page 404. Now, we see here for number 7, it says if the length of the diameter of a sphere is 8, how many square units is its surface area? Okay, so they tell us the length of the diameter. Now remember, the sphere's equation is 4 pi radius squared. So what we're going to do with number 7, we're going to write down surface area is 4 pi radius squared. Okay, that's the surface area of the sphere. Now they tell us here that the diameter is 8. we know the radius is half the diameter. So that would make the radius 4. So the surface area is 4 times pi times 4 squared. Now they ask us, how many square units is its surface area? So we know 4 squared is 16. So we have 4 times pi times 16. Now we'll multiply 4 times 16. 4 times 16 is 64. So the surface area would be 64 pi. So if we look here, 64 pi is B. So our answer selection would be B. All right, so that took care of problem number 7. Now we go here to problem number 8. It says here, a cone pictured below has a slant height of 8 inches and a diameter of 8 inches. If the cone slant height is double and the diameter is half, which of the following statements must be true? Okay, so the new cone, okay, first of all, we need to solve for this in order to get an answer here. All right, so now they gave us this here. So so number 8. Okay, so first of all, we need the formula. The formula for this, for a cone, is the surface area is equal to pi radius times the slant height plus pi radius squared. Okay, so now let's do the original. We have pi, the radius would be 4 because it's half the diameter, and the slant height is 8. Plus pi, the radius is 4 squared. So the surface area here would be 32 pi, plus this would be 16 pi. So the surface area of the original problem is 48 pi. Okay, that's the original. Now we're going to go to what we would call the alteration. They tell us that the slant height is doubled, so that means that's 16, and the diameter is halved. So the diameter, so what they're saying is that we would take this value. So when they say cut this diameter in half, they're saying your new diameter is 4. So that means that your new radius would be 2. So let's go with what they have here. So we have pi. The radius would be 2, because remember your new diameter is 4, and you have to take half of that to get the radius, which is 2. Your slant height is 16, plus pi, radius is 2, and that's squared. So your surface area, 2 times 16 is 32 pi, plus 2 squared is 4, and that's 4 pi. So your surface area would equal to 36 pi. So now, what we have here, the original is 48 pi, and then the new is 36 pi. So let's read these selections. It says the new cone will have the same surface area as the original cone. We know that's not true. Okay, the new cone will have a surface area exactly half of the surface area of the original cone. It's not half of 48, it's 24. So that doesn't work. The new cone will have a surface area exactly double that of the surface area of the new cone. That's not true, as neither one of these double would give the other answer. It says now the new cone will have a surface area less than the surface area of the original cone, and that is correct. So your answer here would be D. Now we go here to number 9. In the cylinder below, the diameter of the circular base is equal to the height of the cylinder. What is the surface area of the cylinder to the nearest square inch? So basically here, so with number 9, we need the surface area of a cylinder, which will be 2 pi radius times the height plus 2 pi radius squared. So we have the surface area of 2 pi. The radius is half this diameter, which would be 3. And then the height is the same as this diameter, so it'd be 6. Plus 2 times pi, we determined the radius was 3. Okay, so now we have the surface area So 2 times 3 is 6 times 6 is 36. So that'd be 36 pi. Plus 3 squared is 9 times 2 is 18. So that'd be 18 pi. Now, we would have the surface area is equal to 36 pi plus 18 pi will give us 54 pi. Now here's the thing here. If you notice, our answers do not have pi with them. Okay, so since our answer does not have pi with them, that means that they actually wanted us to change pi to the 3.14 and then solve. So we have our surface area is equal to 54 times 3.14. So our surface area is equal to, now we need a calculator. And it really doesn't matter which calculator you use, but I'm going to use this calculator because it's just regular multiplication. So it'd be 54 parenthesis 3.14. Close the parenthesis and press enter. So this would be approximately, if we round to the nearest whole number, 170. So since it's approximately 170, your answer here would be C. And that is it for this second part of lesson 7. And I will upload this to YouTube. Have a wonderful day.